Hey assholes, Pat Ryerke here, also known as the Patriarchy. Oh, Samantha Bee. Samantha Bee funny? Samantha Bee something else other than what you are, please? Samantha Bee's this terrible comedian slash journalist, I guess, host of a terrible show called Full Frontal, which nobody wants to see Full Frontal from Samantha Bee. And just like Stephen Colbert or Seth Meyers or Trevor Noah, any of the leftists out there who are on these, alternative news programs, they don't have good sources. They use Vox, they use BuzzFeed, Salon, HuffPo, and they don't really research anything they talk about. They just come on to make comedy that is antagonistic and attacking. See, to me, comedy has to have some basis of reality in it. It has to talk about something that we can actually relate to and understand where the humor's coming from. There has to be this pain or insight that I understand on some level. And the cleverness is how far you can really take that and how much you can elaborate on it. You observe something and then you really break it down, and you break it down in such a ridiculous way it ends up becoming funny. Samantha Bee can't do this because she's a female comedian. I'm kidding. There's a lot of great female comedians, like Amy Schumer, Sarah Silverman, Lisa Lampanelli, maybe. Anyway, she recently made fun of a cancer patient, so that's pretty fun. Isn't that hypocritical? The left, the ones that are always telling us not to make fun of women and fat people and don't make race jokes, be sensitive and empathetic. They don't research something out. Really, would take you no longer than probably a Google search to find out that this guy has cancer, or maybe just looking into the people that you're going to make fun of in your video. I try to do that on YouTube, and I don't have the budget of a TBS show, so I certainly think Samantha Bee could do it. Or is it she's just lazy, gets a bunch of shit off the internet, slaps it together to just make an anti-Trump show, and that's it? Because she's like, oh look, Nazi haircuts. Look, oh those Hitler haircuts, the short cuts, those crew cuts. Yeah. Let's call him a Nazi. That'll be funny. That'll be funny because people like Nazis. I mean, humor is fucking dead on the left. Well, maybe not when it comes to movies or TV shows, because writers are still out there that are very good. But the like figureheads of the leftist comedic movement, like SNL and Samantha Bee, they're fucking awful. Holy shit. I mean, I don't know what the fuck happened. Even if I didn't agree with somebody like Jon Stewart, he could still be funny. This is the worst shit out there. I mean, how did comedy get this bad? Wasn't the left supposed to be like the badass George Carlin side or something? I mean, what the fuck happened? Full Frontal host Samantha Bee apologized for a segment on her TBS show Wednesday night that made fun of a man's haircut. In the segment about this year's Conservative Political Action Conference, CPAC, Bee mocked an attendee saying his haircut resembled a Nazi. This year, the bow ties were gone, replaced by Nazi hair. Nazi hair! Nazi hair! That's literally how the joke was done, too. I'm not exaggerating. That's Samantha Bee's humor. Female comedians, everyone. They're the best we have. The future. The video narrates while focusing in on a 20-year-old student, Kyle Connington. So she focuses on this kid in particular over and over and over again when making this joke. That's important here when bringing this up. It turns out Connington has a partially shaved head because he is battling brain cancer. Oh, yay, I love brain cancer. Yeah, he has stage 4 brain cancer, but whatever floats your boat. His sister posted about it on Twitter. Bee issued an apology on Twitter and removed the segment from her YouTube page. Samantha Bee, we deeply apologize for offending you, and we only learned of his condition today. We have removed him from the piece. According to Connington's GoFundMe page, he has stage 4 glioblastoma. I think it's glioblastoma. If I'm saying it wrong, let me know. I think it's glioblastoma. I could be wrong. An aggressive form of brain cancer. Currently, there is no cure, but there is a chance. The doctor said it all depends on how hard we go after it and how my body responds to the treatment, he wrote. I fully believe that God is still in the miracle-making business as well. I'm putting complete trust in God, and I know regardless of the outcome, I'll be healed one way or another. Please continue to keep me in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you all. Man, what a Nazi this kid is. Okay, let's look at some other article. Kyle Caddington, the cancer patient seen in the segment on Samantha Bee's Full Frontal, poking fun at the Nazi hairstyle that replaced bow ties at the year's CPAC, gave his first interview on the subject to Fox News Channel's Fox and Friends. President Donald Trump, who in his downtime likes to tweet his favorite bits from the FNC morning show, retweeted the interview. So thank you, Samantha Bee. You have once again helped Trump mock your group, your side of the political spectrum, and help build himself up by showing how hypocritical you assholes are. So in a good way, so maybe indirectly, Samantha Bee helped us. Connington said Bee has not called him to personally apologize. He called the show's tweet of apology, see below, and the $1,000 donation the show made to his GoFundMe campaign to pay for his medical expenses related to his cancer treatment a half apology. I'd say it's kind of a half apology. I would say the effects of this go much further than just insulting me and the illness itself. It's just inconsiderate and very unprofessional to, lump together anyone who has a certain hairstyle or just by the way they look. Like I said, it's unprofessional and inconsiderate, and it goes beyond me. It is inconsiderate because it's not a funny joke, because it didn't work. Your context doesn't work. It's not just that he has cancer that makes it bad. It's that the joke sucked. It wasn't funny. It wasn't a funny joke. It wasn't clever. It wasn't well thought out. So that ruins any kind of point you may have had, Samantha Bee. There's no defense for this except you fucked up. Fox and Friends identified Coddington as a registered Democrat. He did not say otherwise, identifying himself as a political moderate. He said he was at CPAC as a journalist covering it for a conservative web mag Outset. Outset has identified Coddington as a contributor. At the time, Coddington was identified in the Full Frontal segment, and the show made its contribution to his GoFundMe fundraiser. He had less than $2,000 raised in donation. In less than 24 hours, that's up to about $80,000. Coddington said he is thankful to Full Frontal's contribution. We deeply apologize for offending you in our CPAC segment. We only learned of this condition today and we removed it. Yeah. Asked about the impact the video segment had on him, Coddington said he was shocked at first when he found out about it. I was actually in bed and one of my Facebook friends messaged me a screenshot of the TV show because they were watching it, and they said, "Oh, she was making fun of you for having Nazi hair." And so I sent the screenshot to my mom, who sent it to my sister, and my sister is the one that tweeted it, and that's when all this got started. You know what's funny? The haircut's actually really nice. This is something I want to point out to people. Like, a lot of guys today that aren't Nazis kind of have this haircut. Now, not this particular one where it's really short, but a lot of guys today are going back to this short top and shaved around thing. In fact, it's becoming very popular to keep your hair really short today. Even with women, keeping your hair really short is becoming popular. But, this does look... But it's really not a bad haircut. And there's part of me that thinks we can move on past the Nazi thing and just kind of look at it as a haircut and go, okay. I honestly, I think it's a stylish haircut. I don't think I have to associate it with Germany or Nazis just because I see it. Personally, I think I could separate the two. Twice the apology anyone Trump insulted has received. Still no excuse for the low bro. That's so funny. Making fun of someone for appearance is not the mark of a great satirist. No, that's very true. Let's see. He sounds like a snowflake. Oh, shut up. Dude has fucking cancer. He has a right to be a snowflake. Everyone just shut up. This kid was at a conservative rally and has the haircut known as the fascie due to its popularity with Hitler Youth during the rise of Hitler. And its current resurgence in alt-right and neo-Nazi groups, Richard Punched Nazi Spencer is a good example. Look the haircut up. Anyway, Bee apologized and donated money to a good cause. She wasn't mocking his cancer. She didn't know about his cancer. It was an honest mistake. Unlike the time Trump mocked a journalist with disabilities by cruelly imitating him. It's funny that person says that and didn't do the research to find out Trump does that all the time and did basically the same thing Samantha Bee did. I'm not defending Trump on that. It was stupid that he does these things when he makes fun of people like Ted Cruz and stuff, but it's actually really funny because this guy's such a moron. His bias won't have him go research on Trump, but he'll go on here and try to defend Samantha Bee because Samantha Bee fucked up. Well, here's an interesting little bit of tidbit of information, a little titty bit. He was wearing a sign around his neck proclaiming cancer patient, so she could have literally just saw that the guy had cancer and probably avoided this. Isn't that funny? You know what this is? This is presumptuous. This is her being a cunt for the sake of being a cunt because she thinks that mean-spirited humor is how she can respond to Trump's negativity or his aggressiveness. But the thing is, Trump is an alpha. That is who Trump is. He's not acting. That is Trump's persona, and it's larger than life, and it works because he sells it in that way. You do not sell yourself this way, Samantha Bee. You feel like a small, fragile, weak, out of date comedian. You seem like a really boring lady who just doesn't get it. You don't get the world right now. You don't get humor. Your show's trash. It's one of the worst shows out there. It's absolute fucking garbage. Hey, good for you for donating money and apologizing. I am gonna give Samantha Bee the credit where it is due. She did say she was wrong. However, that still doesn't ignore the fact that she basically did this, and this was due to the fact of not researching or looking for sources. That's the criticism here, is that the left will never do this. Now, any of them, they'll never do this. Seth Meyers, any of them, they do no research, and then they just come out and give a monologue to a bunch of people and speak like it's fucking truth. And they don't care. They don't care if it's true or not. And they can apologize later, but it doesn't fix anything. It still spreads the narrative of Nazis and shit like that. That's all it's about. It's about pushing a narrative until it's sold enough that everyone starts to believe it. There's so many leftists out there now that believe there's this huge Nazi party in America that's got like hundreds of thousands of members and is growing like rapidly at a daily pace, and it's not. But they're being sold it all the time through this indirect propaganda. It's sold as humor, but there's no humor there. There's no comedy there. There's no substance. The whole thing is just a front to push ideas, to push an ideology. This is not conspiracy theories. Watch the fucking Daily Show. Watch Samantha Bee show. Watch Seth Meyers show. It's just to push ideological bullshit. That's all they're doing. It's annoying. And there's no self-awareness. There's just an air of superiority, moralizing grandeur about them that's just so aggravating and cunt blasting that I just want to punch every single one of them like they want to punch Richard Spencer all the time. What do you guys think? Leave in the comments. What do you think about the Samantha Bee thing? Do you like the show? Do you think the joke was inconsiderate? Do you like the Nazi haircut? Personally, I gotta say, I think it's pretty nice looking. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm glad it's making a comeback. Maybe we could take the power away from it in the past context and give it a little bit more honor. I know, Richard Spencer, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Patriarchy. I'm sorry I was being harsh on female comedians. I actually like a lot of female comedians. It's just a joke. I'm just having fun. All right? I'm not being mean. I'm just having fun. Somebody's got to be able to tell a fucking joke these days. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. And, MAGA.